So if your methodology is not correct, if you have not taken proper sample, you have not applied proper sampling method, you have not selected properly the area or scope of your study, then there is no need of writing or publishing any research paper, because that research paper is never ever going to be accepted by any journal. So you should be very clear about the research methodology part. And I will recommend you, there is one book written by Kothari. It's a very low cost book which you can get from any market. You just try to read that particular book, because if you are doing PhD or if you are planning to write research paper and you are not having enough knowledge about the research methodology, then it is going to be difficult for you to justify your research, your data, your explanation. So it is always better to read about the methodology, because once you are confident about the research methodology part, then only you can write good quality research paper. So here, explain each and everything which you have applied or adopted, all sort of tests you have performed, which software you are using or you have used. Also, all these things you have to write in details, right? And then in sciences, it is called as a methods and materials. So, and if you see some of the screenshot of the Scopus index paper, you can just see, how detailed they are in the methodology part, and why we are writing methodology in detailed and clear-cut manner, so that other researcher can also apply the same methodology. Obviously, he or she will take different objectives, different scope, or different area, different population. But the methodology can be same for 9 paper or 6 paper or 5 paper. There's no plagiarism if you are using the same methodology, because other things are different and that will reflect in your finding section or result section. So this is very important aspect, right? And then the result. We have to understand this thing also, that there is a difference between result and discussion part. Can you please tell me what is the difference between result and discussion part? Because we are basically combining all these things into one part, and that is also one of the reasons for rejection of your paper. Anybody from you, if you can please tell, what is the difference between result and discussion part? Yes. Any idea? Yes, please. There is a difference between result and discussion. Result is the part where you have to report the data only. Don't try to give explanation of your data in this particular segment. Like for example, suppose you are writing that 80% of your respondent, they are visiting library on daily basis, and 20% are visiting library on weekly basis. So here only write this data. Don't give your explanation why 80% are coming and why 20% are coming. That you can write in the discussion part. So always make sure that result section is only about reporting the data. Now the next question you will face while reviewing your paper is, you have presented data in tabular and graphical format. So you decide which format is better, which can describe about your findings. Now where you can use table and figure? Yes. So there is a logic behind writing and presenting each and everything. It is not like that you have presented the data in the tabular format and the same data you are also presenting in the pie chart, pie diagram or line graph. It is called repetition of representation of your data. So you decide which data you want to keep in tabular form and which data you want to keep in graphical form. So the only key point is, if there is any relationship between the two variables, There you can show your data in a graphical form. And where your data is simple, there is no relationship, there you can present data in a tabular, right? And it is not like that you are using the same Excel for presenting your data. There are n number of AI based data visualization tools are here. Like for example, this data visualization tool. So here what you have to do is you simply copy the data from Excel and paste here. And whatever it is asking about the variables, just explain the variables. And accordingly, it will give you 4 or 5 very attractive, beautifully designed graphical form of your data. You can copy the same data and you can use in your paper. The only thing is in the acknowledgement part, you have to write that for making my data more attractive and meaningful, I have used these tools. In the acknowledgement part, you have to mention all these things. That is also called ethical use of AI. If you are using any AI tool, but you are not giving credit, that is also unethical. So that is why it is always important to give acknowledgement of such type of tool, right? Like for example, there's a very simple data, which with the help of some data visualization tools, I have presented in a very attractive manner. The data is the same data, which I have collected and compiled in Excel. So similarly, you can use these tools and present your data. Then the discussion and conclusion. In the discussion part, you can put your own thought in describing the result. And one very important thing is like whatever article you have incorporated in literature review part and whatever portion you are reporting there, right? You have to correlate your data with the existing data. Either your data is going to be similar or it is going to be contrast. But if you are not relating the data which you have incorporated in the literature review and with your data, it is not going to make any sense in the discussion part. And through discussion only you can, create some perception or you can set some narrative. So generally what we do, we combine discussion, conclusion and data analysis part. So basically you have done only 60% work. Remaining 40% is your discussion and conclusion part that we generally miss. And this is also one of the reasons for rejection of your paper. And the conclusion is basically the overall summary of your research paper, where you are incorporating from starting to end. And at the same time, you're also giving that these are the limitation of my data. Suppose your area of study is Haryana, and in Haryana there are 3 districts, and your study is based on villages of these 3 districts. It is not possible to cover all the districts. So you can mention that after applying these parameters, I have only selected these, and these are the districts which I have not covered. So that is going to be a further area of research for some other research scholar. So all these things you have to mention clearly. And then, the very important thing is this is the data released by the Elsevier that 50% of articles submitted in Elsevier journal, they got rejected because of poor grammatical mistake. So if you are good in English, then there is no problem. But if you are not comfortable, you are not confident in English, then I think you can use Grammarly or Silkwrite. These are the free tool, or you can use the Trinka. Trinka is also a very good tool after the deadline. And never ever try to upload your paper here. You can copy one paragraph, use the web version, and whatever suggestion it is giving to you, either you accept this or make some changes, and then the same thing you can use in your final paper. But you should be very careful, sometime when you are using these tools, so they sometimes change the meaning of your complete paragraph. So never ever, try to depend 100% on these tools. These are the helping tools. So if you are convinced with whatever corrections they are giving, then it is okay. Otherwise, you can go with your version. But these are the tools, very good tools, and these are the tools which are used by many other researchers also. And one more thing, your title and abstract. It is always recommended that you think about the title after writing your paper, not at the starting of your paper. And before framing the title, it is always advisable to write proper structured abstract. No, generally you will see in the author guidelines that you have to submit the abstract in 250 or 350 words. So what we do, we take something from introduction, something to methodology, and something from conclusion. This is not the proper abstract, because abstract is considered for window. Even editor of that particular journal, he or she will read your abstract first, and if he or she is convinced, then only he will send your paper for review, because all these editors, they are not expert in all the domain. But if you are writing abstract in such a manner where you are writing about the purpose, design methodology, some important findings, research limitations, what are the practical implications of your research, what is the originality of your research, how your research is different with the existing literature, is there any social implication of your research? If you are incorporating all these things in your abstract, then only it will be considered as a structured abstract. And then think about the title. Never use abbreviation in the title, right? And always think about the title which can reflect your complete study, right? And if you are not sure about the title, whether your title is attractive or not, so these are some tools like essay title generator or essay topic generator. So what you can do is you select the area of your study, enter the topic which you have decided, and then based upon the topic and your subject area, it will give you some 3 4 options. From there also you can pick, right? So all these things you have to make sure before submitting your paper to any journal. Don't be in hurry. And last and important thing is always follow author's guidelines. If you are not following author's guidelines, immediately editor will reject your paper. That is called desk rejection. Desk rejection means your paper has been rejected without sending for peer review. And these are based on silly mistakes only. So always read guidelines for author and structure your paper according to that particular guidelines. Right? Now publishing. Now you will find there are national, international journal. Simply writing international doesn't mean that that journal is international. How you can identify whether that journal is international? See the composition of editorial board member. See the list of contributor. If the contributor are from different country, then only it is international journal. And if the journal is indexed in any international database, then only it is considered as international. Otherwise, even the journal is writing international, it can be treated as a national journal if all these 3 criteria are not there. Then how to find the journal? Finding the right journal is very, very important for your research. Sometimes very good written article, they got rejected because you are not done enough homework for selecting the journal. Again, you can use these tools, and these all are genuine tools. This is a tool which is developed by Elsevier, that is called Elsevier Journal Finder. Simply you go to Google, type this thing. Here you have to write abstract, title, keywords, and subject area. It's a free tool. Simply go to Google, type Elsevier Journal Finder, follow these steps, like for example this, and it will give you the chances of possibility of publication of your research in Elsevier Journal. So you can see, what do you think? I should submit my article to Elsevier Journal or not? Just tell me. Here you can see the chances of acceptance is only 18%, 26%, 16%. So what do you suggest? I should submit my article here or not? Just tell me yes or no. Say yes or no. Yes. Then what we can do, if Elsevier is not having enough journal for my paper, I will go to some other publisher's platform, like Wiley Journal Finder, and repeat the same thing. Now you can see, what you think. This journal is appropriate for my same article or not? What do you suggest? Just tell me. Very good. So this is very high relevance. If relevance is shown in three square dotted line, that means chances of acceptance is more than 75%. So now I can make a note. Okay, Elsevier is not having enough journal. Now there is one journal of Wiley where chances of acceptance is high. But again, you can explore some other publishers platform like Springer Journal Suggester. The same thing you can do with Edange. So all these publishers platform, they are very, very helpful for researcher where you can explore all these platform and write down top 5 or top 10 journals. Like the same article is having very high possibility if I submit the article in this journal. Then there is one software called EndNote Match. Then IEEE Recommender. Almost all the publishers, they are having their publishers platform, their journal finder. What you can do is, suppose you want to publish your article with Bentham Science, or for example, in law, LexisNexis, or Oxford Law journals. So you simply go to Google, type Oxford Journal Finder or Oxford Journal Suggester. I think 90% chances are there you will find this tool. And you can see whether you are having enough journal or not. So I'm not saying that this is the final list. So you just try to make a list and then just try to see whether that journal is not in the list of predatory journal. Now there's an article published in Nature. So that is why, because of all these predatory thing, UGC has discontinued UGC Care portal. Now they have totally leave to the university. Now you decide which journal you think is a quality journal, and if you have listed down the journal, you can give promotion, PhD award, all these things to your research scholar. Now they have decentralized this thing. Earlier it was centralized by the UGC. So right now there is no UGC Care list. So that is why, because of all these predatory publications, so this is one website, it's called Bales List of Predatory Publications. So here you will see name of the publishers and their journals listed here. So never ever try to use or submit your article which are listed here. And this is the journal evaluation rubric, which you can download from Google also. Simply type journal evaluation rubric. And you can also identify whether any journal is good journal, fair journal, or poor journal based on these parameters. So it is always recommended that whatever journals you have listed out, always try to see whether that journal is not in the list of predatory journal. And this is again one website, it's called Think, Check, and Submit. This will also help you. Even Scopus will also help you in terms of what? In terms of identifying the predatory journals. Let me show you. Like for example, go to sources. Now here, if I enter subject area, law and legal studies, like law. So more than 1000 journals are indexed in Scopus. So if you are having perception that Scopus is not indexing law journal, you are wrong. And here I have specifically searched for law journal. There are many social science journals also. There are many multidisciplinary journals also where you can publish article. Now this is one thing. The second thing is, now suppose you have decided one topic, one journal. Now enter the name of the journal. I'm just giving you random search for one journal related to library science. Now suppose this is the journal. Now what do you think? It is a Scopus Index journal or not? Just tell me. It is a Scopus Index or not? I have entered the title and Scopus is giving me one result. So what do you think? Yes. So in the first instance, it will look like it is a Scopus Index journal. But when you click here, now read this thing. What is written? Yes. So now there are, shops are running all over India, all over the world. You will find one email in your inbox that this is the Scopus Index Journal and we are accepting the article. You submit your article, we will publish in the upcoming issue. And for this, you have to pay 50,000, 60,000 rupees. And they will also give you a screenshot of this thing. They will attach the screenshot of Scopus website just to, misguide you, because they also know that you are not having access of Scopus, and you are not, once you are not having access of Scopus, then you can't click here. So they will attach this screenshot and you will think, okay, it is a Scopus Index Journal, and what is the problem? I can pay 60, 50,000 rupees, and you will submit your article to this journal. And later on, you will realize that I have submitted my article to the journal, which is a predatory journal. That is why Scopus has discontinued. Now, you can ask me one question. What are the reasons for discontinuing of this journal? You want to ask me this question? Yes? Then Scopus is giving you answer. So while selecting any journals, click here and then come to Scopus content coverage. Now just say, when the journal started, they are publishing on an average 150, 200 article in a year, right? You can see the number. Now suddenly in 2021, how many articles they have published? Just imagine, this is a clear-cut example of predatory journals. So they have published 1,600 articles. Suppose this journal is quarterly journal, means four issue per year. So on an average, I think 400 articles they have published in a single issue. And you can imagine how much money they have made. So that is why Scopus has discontinued this journal. And one more thing, once you publish your paper in any predatory journal, and later on, if somebody has complained against your paper, it's your friend, your colleague, then there is always chance that your paper will be retracted. What is retraction? After publishing your paper based on some allegation and you have failed to prove your justification, your paper will be retracted, and all the retracted paper will be visible through this particular database that is called retraction watch database. And here they will, I'm not going to search with the individual or institution name. Just to give you one example, these are the list of papers published from India which got retracted because of violation of research ethics, because of publishing their paper in predatory journal. This complete list, and they are also mentioning the concern issue about result and conclusion, duplication of image, investigation by third party. Investigation by third party means there's 100% case of violation of research ethics. And suppose you have published your article in any predatory journal and you are appearing for interview in Punjab University, and I know this thing, I can simply write an email to the Vice Chancellor that the candidate which you have shortlisted, he or she has published 3 or 4 papers which got retracted by the publisher, and this is the screenshot of the website. Punjab University will never appoint you in any position, because this is proven thing that you have violated the research ethics, you have followed unethical practices while publishing your research. And you all are basically student of law and legal studies, so you know about all these complications. So that is why never ever to be on very hurry while submitting your paper. Now every tools and technologies websites are there. The only thing is you have to done a proper research before submitting your hard work to any journal. For the publisher, it's a commercial tool. They are making money from your research paper. For them, it's a business. You are doing all sort of hard work. You are submitting your paper to any journal free of cost. These publishers, they are not paying you a single penny. And reviewer who are editor and reviewer who are working for that particular journal, these publishers, they are also not paying single penny. But once you publish your paper, you have to pay to access your own content. Now there are lakhs of paper published by Indian researcher in these journals. But these publishers, they are charging the same amount from different institutions to access our own content. So for them, it's a business. So that is why you should be very, very careful before submitting to your paper. And one more thing, as a research scholar or as a legal student, one should know about all the softwares and tools. One of the very important tool is called LaTeX or latex. If you write something on latex, most of the paper setting part will be taken care by the software. Like for example, if I have to submit my paper to any publisher, so this is giving you option, that is one other software typeset. So you have written one paper, now you want to submit to Springer Journal, but you are not aware about the guidelines or structuring the paper. You upload your paper and your paper will be structured according to that publisher's guideline. Typeset demo version you can use freely, but it's commercial. LaTeX at free. You can simply go to YouTube, download this software, and just try to learn. Do virtual learning. And it is not that much complicated. You only need to know about little bit programming language or little bit HTML coding, very basic coding. And then you can work on this LaTeX. One more thing, suppose you have submitted or you have identified the journal, always write very good cover letter. And this I can say with my personal experience. I have submitted my paper in the Scopus Index Journal, which is one of the oldest journal, more than 50-year-old in the field of library science. And they have immediately rejected my paper. Then I have realized that editor has not even tried to read my abstract. Because this journal is very highly reputed journal, is a Scopus tier 1 journal published from USA. So all these USA person, they are having perception about the Indians, that the Indians, they are not good in writing research papers, specifically from social sciences. So because of this perception, he rejected my paper. But even after rejection, I have written very good cover note. What is cover note? Telling about your research and making your impression in front of editor that why you have selected this journal and what are the key highlights of your paper. So you have to market your paper. And after sending my cover note, you can see there is one word, apologize. I apologize. Then he realized that he has done very good work, and it is not like that because he is from India, that is why we have to reject the paper. And the same paper got accepted in the same journal. Right? Now, in the sciences and social sciences also, there are many cases of data manipulation, data fabrication. So just to avoid all these things, you can add your research data also. Like for example, this is the research data. Now, whenever you are uploading your paper in any publisher's platform, there is one option that is called supplementary data. So in the supplementary data, you can upload all the research data which you have collected and compiled. Right? Like this. Now plagiarism. Now this is also very serious offense. Now there are 3 types of research misconduct: fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. Any idea about all these 3 aspects? Because you are basically from law. What do you think about the research misconduct? Yes, please. Yesterday you were very interactive. What happened today?
So as far as I know, fabrication is making up.
Yes. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Very good. Very good. Now let me explain you with this example. Now let me give you example of falsification. So, like for example, in your research methodology, you have mentioned that you are going to collect the data from 500 respondents, suppose. And when you actually went to field, then you have realized that the people or respondents, they are not sharing the data. So what you will do, that whatever data you have collected, like for example, you have collected original data from 250 respondents. So what you will do, you will try to manipulate the data by your own, because nobody is asking for the proof. It is just like mentioning yes or no in the Excel. So you will set the trend. Okay, 250 are saying yes. So what is the problem? Yes, yes, or randomly no, no, yes, no, yes, no. And there is no software which can detect the falsification. All softwares, they are basically meant for detecting the plagiarism. So that is why there are many cases, even from PGI, top universities, IITs, foreign universities. Because of this data manipulation, there are severe consequences for that particular researcher. That is why the publishers, they have started a practice that we are not going to rely on your data until unless your data is not supported with your raw data. And fabrication, like for example, you went to the field, you went to the field, and then you are mentioning that after having interaction with the villagers or your respondent, you have observed this thing. You are again manipulating the thing. And this is not basically happened in reality. So you are reporting observations that were never made. You are manipulating the data. And what is plagiarism? You are taking the work, idea, images, graph, data from already published work, and you are not giving credit. That is called research misconduct, right? So there are different type of plagiarism, but there are two severe type of plagiarism: paraphrasing plagiarism and self plagiarism. What is paraphrasing? Sometimes we we are writing introduction part, and before writing the introduction part, you have downloaded 4 or 5 research paper, and after reading the introduction of all these 4 or 5 paper, now you are writing something in your own words. This is called paraphrasing. What is paraphrasing? Writing something in your own words. But if you are not giving in-text citation, that is called paraphrasing plagiarism, because after reading those papers, then some idea generated in your mind. So that idea needs to be protected, even if you are writing in your own words. And what is self-plagiarism? Taking something from your already published work. So generally there is perception. What is the problem? The data which I have reported in my first paper belongs to me only. I am the owner of the data. So the same data I can use for my next paper. It is not like that. Once you have signed the copyright agreement, then you have given full ownership of your content to the publisher. Now it is not your data. It is like selling your house. After selling your house, it is no longer your house. So you can't enter in your own house because it is not your now. So the same thing with your content and data. Once you sign the copyright agreement, you are giving the ownership. So that is why UGC has also issued a circular that before awarding PhD and promotion, the committee must check the case of self-plagiarism or all sort of plagiarism. So that is why most of the university we are following 2018 guidelines. And 2018 guidelines is all about research ethics. And mostly universities in India are now bound with these guidelines. So it is also publicly accessible. So you can see the data also.
Yes. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Screen is visible. This PPT is coming to the screen. Yes, please confirm.
Yes, the screen is visible.
Okay, thank you. So what are the things which are very, very important to remember while using copyrighted material? So the golden rule to avoid plagiarism is whenever you are quoting, whenever you are summarizing, whenever you are paraphrasing, always give in-text citation. And rest of the things you can mention in the reference part. How to give in-text citation? These are the example. So you read the guidelines for the author. There are two type of in-text citation, narrative and parenthetical. And simply you know, if you follow APA citation style manual, it is freely available on Google. It will tell you about each and everything. So, but one should know what is the difference between narrative and in-text citation. So whenever you are giving in-text citation, wherever you are giving in-text citation, it simply means that this portion of your work is not originally yours. You have borrowed something for that particular paragraph, and you will be appreciated more if you are giving credit to authors which work you are taking in your research paper. So there is no problem, there is no harm if you are giving credit to the original author, right? So this is the important thing. And then, you know, this is the notification about the self plagiarism by